Gil Brandt with us here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio. Gil, you know, you worked for the Cowboys through 1989 when Jerry Jones bought the franchise, but you're still very much involved in football. You do your show on Sirius Satellite. You spent a lot of time, you know, studying guys for the draft. You become kind of a draft expert. So what's your evaluation of Morris Claiborne, who the Cowboys moved up to take this year?
Well, I think he's an excellent football player. You know, not only is he an excellent football player, I think he's really a good person. And I think that's the big thing today, that you get character people, good quality character people. I think our teams were successful because we had a lot of really good character people, the Leroy Jordans and the Drew Pearsons and people like that, the Starbucks, great character people. You know, I'm involved quite a bit with the National Football League, with NFL.com, and then also with the league as far as deciding who we're going to bring to New York for the draft. And, you know, Claiborne was one of the guys of 25 that we brought to New York for the draft. And the thing that really impressed me about Claiborne is I think his son is about 2.5 years old. And we bring him up there. They're up there for 3 nights, and we have a little meeting, and everybody scatters except one guy, Claiborne. He's got that little son of his running around the lobby, you know, and so I think when you see something like that, it's pretty good. And I know some people said he got beat yesterday in practice and so forth. You know, don't expect Deion Sanders the first day of your guy practices. You know, it's a process, and guys are in awe. But as I say, I think from the standpoint of ability and character, what he's going to lend to your team. And, you know, the famous score that he supposedly made on the Wonderlic test, you know, what really happened is that, and it's unfortunate that these scores get out, but what happened is that he said, you know, this doesn't pertain to football, so he quit after 4, and so that's what happened. But, you know, all you have to do is have him on your show or talk to him. You find out he's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, no question about that. Gil Brandt joining us right here at Ari and Minnix, 1250 ESPN San Antonio. When you look at the start of the NFL and you very much being a part of the inception of the National Football League to today, it's a $32 billion industry today, Gil. I mean, did you ever imagine that it would turn into this? I mean, what are some of the ways in which the NFL has adapted and evolved over the years that have allowed for such expansive growth?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is take a ride down to downtown Oxnard and see all these one-story buildings, shopping centers, motels, and so forth. And that's kind of what we were in those days. You know, actually, the National Football League was way behind baseball. It was way behind college football. Yeah. And now it's the Sears Tower and still growing is what it is. And I think all you have to do is see the crowds that they have at these practices. 14,000 people at Arizona the other day. I mean, that's just unheard of to have that many people there. So I think you see the interest in it. You know, they've done such a good job. It's a great television sport. And, you know, in baseball, it's a wonderful sport, but really it's a pitch-and-catch game. Mm-hmm. In this game, there's something happening every minute for 3 hours, and they try to keep it to 3 hours. We try to do everything we possibly can, play clocks and so forth, so that we don't have 4-hour games. But it's so exciting. But the biggest thing is the competitive balance in the league. Competitive balance is so great. If you look over the last 72 teams that didn't make the playoffs the year before, that made it the following year. And, you know, New Orleans in 2009, they went from last to first. And not only the last to first, they won the Super Bowl. So it's so good because everybody has that continual hope. It's like Cincinnati. You know, Cincinnati hadn't been in the playoffs forever. Detroit hadn't been in the playoffs. And now all of a sudden we're talking about these two teams as possible Super Bowl playoff teams is what it is. So I think that's the thing that's made it so good.
That is great stuff. That is the voice of Gil Brandt, great football mind. It's been awesome spending a few minutes with you here this afternoon. Really appreciate you stopping by.
Well, thanks a lot. And, you know, we really appreciate it. Tex loved the people of San Antonio.
We appreciate that.
And I won't mention the name of the station that he was on, but you know, he had a regular Tuesday night program.
He did. Yeah. He did. And you know, back in the day, I mean, and you think about Tex Schramm working it, creating America's team. I know we're running late for a break, Gil, but you can settle that. Cowboys America's team. We all know that, but that's not something the Cowboys gave themselves. That was from NFL Films.
Right, and I think all you have to do is see how many people are out here, and they are America's team.
They are.
Thanks for having me, guys.